Hi crafters! Today we're going to unbox your new Epson SureColor F170 sublimation printer. First things first, go ahead and open up that box. Make sure you always cut away with your knife, never towards yourself. You'll also see your instructions and your setup manual, so all the paperwork you'll need for your Epson. Be sure to put that to the side. You can then go ahead and take out the styrofoam pieces that are protecting your printer. You'll notice as well that separately packaged is going to be all of your inks and your power cord. So you can go ahead and pull that out as well. There's going to be one key spot in the front that you need to cut open. So just go ahead and do that, and then it should fold right unopen. Then once you're inside of the box, you'll see the different inks. So there's going to be a yellow, a magenta, cyan, and black. And those are going to be the 4 basic colors that you'll need for sublimation. On top of that, you're going to notice that they're all individually packaged. This just helps make sure that in case they do spill, they won't spill over everything in your kit. You'll notice as well that there's a power cord at the top. You'll need that later on. We wouldn't recommend plugging it in just yet. You'll want to wait to do that until you're ready for that stage of the setup. So go ahead and just set these to the side for now. We will use those inks in just a moment. Then you can go ahead and pull that printer out of the box. You'll notice that it's also wrapped. You can go ahead and pull that packaging right off. And then next, you're going to see that there's a bunch of little pieces of tape all around the printer. That tape is just there to make sure everything stays snugly in place. Once you identified all those spots of where the blue tape is, go ahead and feel free to start taking those little pieces off. You don't need to do it in any particular order. Just go ahead and remove all of the tapes from your printer, and then you'll be ready to proceed with setup. So make sure you check the front, each one of the sides, and the back as well. You'll go ahead and need to remove all of those little pieces before you proceed to the next step. There's even some along the corners, so make sure you're checking the whole thing. Once you're done removing all of the tape from the outside of the printer, go ahead and open the printer as well by opening the top flap and just ensuring that there's no tape inside as well. If you do see any pieces there, be sure to remove them. When you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and lift up the ink covers. You'll notice there's going to be a slot for every ink individually. Pay close attention to which colors are which, because the bottles will only fit in their design spot. Go ahead and start with the black one first. You'll notice that they're pre-wrapped like we were discussing earlier. You can go ahead and open them at this point. You'll notice little indicators not only on the printer but on the bottle letting you know to shake the bottle 15 times before use. So go ahead and give it a good shake for at least 15 shakes or 15 seconds. And then when you're done, you'll be able to place that right onto the black slot for the ink. There is a little top that you want to remove. The top will twist off when you're ready, so go ahead and do that before you start trying to pour it into the ink slot. Make sure that before you start pouring as well, you identify the correct color for the first one, which is going to be the black ink. So there you are, twist it right off, and then you open the little ink slot, and you'll notice that it aligns perfectly with that spot. Once you've got that ink in place, it'll start to deplete into the ink retainer. Once it reaches a certain fill line, that's how you know that it's done. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in for you really quick. The fill line is just above where the finger is in the video. So go ahead and just let it fill to that. You don't need to do anything special. There's no need to squeeze or anything like that. Just go ahead and let it fill up. It can take a little bit of time, but just be patient and let that fill. When you're done with the first one, you can do the same thing with the next 3 colors as well. Once you've filled all 4 of the colors, go ahead and close the ink tank and the printer top cover as well. You'll notice all the lines have been filled underneath. Next, you'll want to go ahead and connect the supplied power cord. You'll want to do this to the back side of the printer. The Wi-Fi connection itself is going to be connected wirelessly. So if you're not able to supply a consistent Wi-Fi connection, we'd highly recommend you purchase a USB 2.0 or Ethernet cord to connect to the internet. Once you have all that situated, you'll go ahead and plug in your power cord to the back side of the printer and then plug in the power connection as well. Go ahead and flip the printer back around and you can go ahead and turn on the printer. You'll do this by holding down that power button for several seconds. Once it's on, you'll go ahead and select the preferred language. You can do so by pressing the up and down arrows and then pressing OK to accept. Next, the printer will initialize for a few moments, and then it's going to refer you to the Start Here sheet to get started. Press OK when you're ready to proceed. This means that the printer is ready for ink initialization. As noted on the sheet, go ahead and hold the question mark button down for several seconds and then press OK to begin the process. The next prompt will ask you if the tanks are full. Select OK since we just filled them in the previous steps. The initialization will take approximately 14 minutes. During this process, do not unplug the printer, open the cover, or interrupt the printer at all. Once the initialization has completed, press the OK button to move on to loading the paper. You will see another prompt to adjust for best quality. Select OK and continue. You can now go ahead and open the paper cassette tray and move the blue paper width guide to the letter size position. Next, you'll go ahead and load your MakerFlo sublimation transfer paper into the paper tray. Make sure the printable side is face down and the MakerFlo printed side is face up. Once you have your paper loaded into the cassette tray, go ahead and close it and press OK to make your very first print. You can pull the tray out if you'd like to watch the print in action. Your very first print will be a nozzle check pattern. This is used to verify that the print head is working correctly. Examine the nozzle check that printed. You can tell if this is good by the pattern and the lines. The lines should touch and be completely solid. It should match with the image on the Epson display. If the nozzle check is not good, hit the left button and select the X. This will run a cleaning cycle. Once everything does match up, go ahead and select the O and press OK. Now, the printer will start to print a vertical line pattern. With this line pattern, you're going to want to identify the most uniform square. It should be even and completely filled in. In our case, looking at the squares, we picked number 4. Once you've identified the square, go ahead and use the plus or minus button on the printer to select that number of the square, and then press OK. The printer will now print a horizontal line pattern. Visually, when you're looking at this pattern, you want to find the one where the 2 gray lines match. There shouldn't be any white space between them or overlap either. When looking at the patterns, closely examine them to make sure you pick the one that is most consistent and again not overlapping or not having any space in between them. When looking at the different patterns, we examined them pretty closely and decided we're going to pick number 5. Once you've selected your pattern, use the up or down arrows and select OK. And that's it. This concludes the setup of your brand new Epson SureColor F170 sublimation printer. Now you're ready to make sublimation magic.